So my dad died, and he died suddenly and unexpectedly. So I decided to start a YouTube channel because, you know, that's a normal reaction. When he died, I wished I had more. You know, I have a terrible memory, and I wanted those conversations sitting in the backyard around a table in the summer when he would drive his truck over to where I lived and talk about stuff. I wish I had more of his thoughts, experiences and things like that on video or on voice recording or something. Do you like Mama's voice, do you? Do you like Mama's voice? But I didn't. Not only do we not make family videos the way we used to, you have a gathering or a birthday and the big video camera comes out and you just record and press, that's it. We don't have that. And these days we have, you know, you pull your phone out and you take a 30-second funny clip, which is great, don't get me wrong, that's great, but it's just not the stuff that I was wishing for. The stuff that I was wishing for was a bit deeper than that. So the night that my mum phoned and told me that Dad was in hospital, 2 hours later my best friend phoned and told me she had breast cancer. I just, for someone who hadn't experienced a lot of death or major illness in my immediate family, and yes, my best friend is my family, she's my wife, it was a lot. See, with Dad, they gave us hope. They said, you know, they think it was a mild stroke. He ended up having he had symptoms and he had a mild stroke in hospital. And they talked about rehab and recovery and all those kinds of things. So I was like, all right, hold your horses. Didn't jump on a plane, you know, just yet. And then when the phone call came about my best friend, I froze. Oh. She's still alive, by the way. She's fine. Well, she's not fine. She has cancer, but she's with us. Anyway, I froze. I couldn't breathe. My husband started grabbing things around me and we were jumping in the car, but he had to give me instructions. I just, I don't know, it's a lot. And my best friend's not an old lady. She's under 40, you know, and you know people get things like this. It's just one of those things that at the moment until now it had happened to other people. So yeah, Dad in hospital, mild stroke, best friend diagnosed with breast cancer. 4 days later, my dad passed away, and I'll make another video about that another time. There'll probably be lots of crying in that one. I'm trying to hold it back at the moment, and just over a week later my grandma died. And my grandma was 89 and she was ready. And then about 4 months later my husband's pop died, who I was close to. And 89, octogenarian, as he would say, and he was ready too, but doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. So when it first all happened and there was a lot of crying, and in between trying to function like a human, which was kind of difficult at the best of times, but you just got through. I mean, going to work was a good thing. Quick bit. I had a daughter just before I was 15, and she moved out a couple of years ago, back to where I used to live, which is like a big plane right away. So since then, my husband and I have sold our place and moved to the bush, and we've tried to go on overseas trips every year because we just didn't do any of that stuff before. And before my dad passed away, we were trying to decide where to go, and maybe somewhere a bit cheaper because we're kind of renovating at the moment. And we couldn't decide. I think we talked about Mongolia and China at one point, just something completely different. And then when my dad died, we decided that life's too short, and I really wanted to go back to Japan. I've been to Japan once, and he really wanted to go back to America because we've got some friends over there. So we decided to go to different places this year, which is exciting. I don't want to travel by myself, forever. I mean, that's why you marry someone, because you want to do things with them. Although I could totally travel by myself, I'm happy with that. But anyway, so he decided to travel to America. I decided to travel to Japan. And my way of, I'm not even going to say coping, I'm just going to say getting through, was drowning myself in YouTube travel videos. Which I'd done our previous trip, but the difference was it wasn't an escape. Back then, it was an escape. I would come home, I would probably have cried in the car, and then I would put my phone onto YouTube travel videos while I did everything, like wash dishes, prepare food, tidy the house, shower, whatever. I needed it, and it helped me get through. And I must have done that for like 3 months solid, which brings us to about Father's Day. And, I thought about the idea of vlogging my trip around Japan, which I'd wanted to do the first time, but I just wasn't that way inclined enough. And then it occurred to me that more that I wished for when my dad passed, I could create for my future granddaughter or grandchildren, my husband, my daughter, my mum, my brother, everybody, my friends, and touch wood. In case anything happened to me, and a bit earlier than expected, and if it didn't, and I ended up living to like a ripe old age, then bonus, I could get to have a good laugh at myself. Or let's say I ended up with a degenerative mind disease, then I'd have these as well, I guess. And or again, my friends and family would. So that's where it was born. So I started doing research and about starting a YouTube channel and planning and learning, and again, just living life through YouTube by learning how to do all this and set it all up and the likes. Scrap! Okay. So my brief. I'm 35. I had a normal childhood. Mum, dad, little brother. Pretty normal until I had a child at 14 and 10 months, for those that have seen the birth certificates. I took some time off school to have my daughter, went back, finished high school, went back to uni. Took me a long time, part-time, to complete. I met a sailor, and then I moved from Melbourne to Western Australia. We were together about 5 years, and I just, broke up. Spent probably about 6 months in my room making bead necklaces, because that's what you do. The first big night out after the breakup was my best friend's hen's night, and there was dares and games and the likes, and that's how I met my husband, in a nightclub. Who knew that could work out? We've been together for 11 years. We bought a house and got married. My daughter graduated high school. I graduated university in the same year, and got married in that year, and bought a bush property in that year. Anyway, it was a big year. She moved back to Victoria. We decided to move to the bush. And the kicker, a month before my dad died, my daughter announced that her and her hubby were having a baby. It has now been so long that they have had the baby, and we've just spent time over there, and she's beautiful. She's beautiful. So essentially, this is for her. She was the big driving force because she's so young, and if anything happened to me, touch wood, she would have things of me and eventually my husband in these videos. And it's not a topic specific channel. It's not narrow specific, you know, it's not travel or food or fitness, you know, it's everything. And I'm not going to call it necessarily vlogging either, but I mean, it's just life. And it's not necessarily a daily vlog or anything like that, but I want to do a bit of everything, which is why my intro says, you know, leaving memories for loved ones and learning life through YouTube. So yeah. Obviously this YouTube channel was born because my dad died and because I became a grandmother. And I still have my mother though, which I'm so thankful for. And she's doing great. My mother is a strong lady. She might come across a bit quieter sometimes and shy or the likes, but underneath that all, she's a really strong lady and pretty practical. So she grieved. She grieves now. We all still grieve, but she hasn't become a hermit. If anything, I've become more of a hermit than she has. And she's living her life. She understands that Dad's gone and that's how it is, and now she's, you know, living the next phase of her life, which yes was sooner than expected, but she's doing great. And she's getting out and seeing her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren and friends and making plans, and we're making travel plans. Canada 2019. So yeah. I don't know, do I say thanks for watching? I don't know, is it cliche or is it just polite? It's probably polite. Because if they get all the way through this long video, then holy crap, they deserve to be thanked. Yeah, no, okay, thanks for watching. Hi. What, do you want some love, hey? Do you want some love? I don't like any of this. Oh, rambling. My 22 minutes. And now the fun bit of watching it all back and figuring out where I need to edit things and stop and start. There is no chance I'm going to be able to keep this at 10 minutes. Obviously this YouTube kiss for mum, hey? Kiss for mum.